So I want to be making it very clear on the video that I last uploaded because it wasn't a hacking situation that happened in the area that I live at, but this was actually a issue that was related to a um THMs, if you understand what I mean by that. It's a very, very big word. It means triholomethanes that has that my city's water authority has found in the water supply during the third and fourth quarters of 2020. It's not a really big threat to anybody to use to use the potable drinking water in the water system. And this came from an executive director of the water authority. What they the executive director, he knew that the THMs caused a violation during the fourth quarter for the location running annual average LRAA, and it exceeded the maximum containment level. And the executive director says THMs are disinfected byproducts and chemical compounds that form when water is disinfected with chlorine, which is what the city's water authority uses as its disinfecting agent. So, like in pools, how they have like a bunch of chlorine in there? I don't know what pools have to do with the city's water, that like drinking water, but you don't drink pool water because it has chlorine in it, but they're thinking of reducing the amount of chlorine that is in the water to help resolve the issue. Now there is another part that I am going to share. Said the protection advised the water authority to increase chlorine levels starting in August, a hot, dry summer and fall paired with a COVID-19 related decrease in water use caused the increase of THM level. So they reduced the chlorine levels in January 2021 and have focused on strategic flushing to help purge aged water and introduce fresh supplies. And the executive director of the Water Authority said, "We anticipate these actions resolve the issue." The authority received a positive report on the annual dams inspection and emergency action plan, which was conducted in the fall. All were found to be in good condition with no major issues. They plan on moving forward with a polymer pilot study with hopes they will gain insight to improve settings of sludge into tube settlers at the wastewater treatment plant. The full-scale pilot study will be of the mixed water in one of the 8 treatment tanks. It will begin this August and continue to January 2022, so they can evaluate during both the warm and cold seasons. So, both hot and cold seasons that we experience here yearly, there are 2 hot seasons and 2 cold seasons. The hot seasons are spring and summer, and then the cold seasons are fall and winter. But not every day is going to feel like it's the same. It depends on where in the United States you actually live at. The area that I live at is it's up north. We're far away from the equator. So, if you're in places like Florida, it's going to be hot all year round, regardless of what season you're in. If it's winter, it's going to still stay and feel like summer weather back in Florida when it's winter, because Florida is close to the equator, but the closest to the equator that you could get is if you lived in Jamaica. So, that video that I made that the water system was hacked didn't end up being the case. It could have been a possibility that some kind of threat would actually end up happening like this, if that ever came to it. But no, I thought that's what my local newspaper said. Like, what I just read to you right now was from a newspaper, so I'm making sure that what I'm saying on here is completely accurate. So that I'm not misinforming people when I make this video. But yeah, think of the last upload as a possible threat that could happen, at least any time. But like I said, my city that I live in is not really big, but what it can do is, something that we can expect to happen. Anybody can hack systems of any sort to try to, damage the, like, make a like some kind of life-threatening survival toxic situation, if you know what I mean by that. It's basically like, other people want to become anonymous. If you recall what Anonymous was, it was that hacking group and that stuff. They hacked the FBI systems, and, they hacked these news media that were going live, and, they were, anonymous. They pretty much hacked into pretty much any system that they could and that stuff. And this is a group that started back, way back, and you hardly hear from this group anymore and that stuff. But they pretty much got in trouble for, all of this hacking and, meddling and that stuff. And that's the problem. If you ever did hack and meddle with systems like government sites or, whatever it was and that stuff, you could get, a serious, you could probably get serious jail time from that and that stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was another hacker group that actually started forming another hacking group now that Anonymous is, you don't hear from them anymore, so I'm going to assume that they are a group that you don't hear of anymore, meaning that it must be a dead group that you don't, a dead hacking group that you don't hear of anymore. But I'm going to assume that they just don't exist as a hacking group anymore. But if somebody were to recreate another hacking group and that stuff, that would be another threat. That could probably be, like a burst of an anonymous group. If like some crazy thing were to happen in the United States or whatever and that stuff, they'd probably be forming another hacking group that would, try to disrupt and meddle with, internet security and that stuff here in the United States, and that could be a real big threat. But the water hacking possibility that could happen to the water authority, it could happen. It could end up happening in the future. Who knows how long it is, but for right now, this doesn't seem like that the water system was hacked is not really the case here based on what the newspaper that I read just says. It doesn't look like I have, or the city has, any doesn't have any water system being hacked issues right now. It could happen somewhere in the future. Who knows how long when this kind of threat actually strikes. But no, when hot and cold seasons affect the water system, it's a real, it's a big issue. You want to keep the people safe from drinking portable water. I can understand that. But like a possible hacking the water system threat, it could happen at any given time. It could happen at a time you do not expect. But the most people that get their water systems hacked are gonna be, those big major cities out there. Just something to be aware of in the future. Because what happens if you ended up finding out one day that your um, water authority or the city's water system actually got hacked and you found out that you can't drink the water anymore because you discovered that the water's been hacked and that you end up not knowing about it, and then you could end up getting sick because you don't know that your water system got hacked. It's just something to think about. This could happen out of nowhere. But if water systems do get hacked in any big city, it would be spread all over the news, and, what the news jobs is to inform us on what could be, possible threats to us as individuals and that stuff, stuff that we need to know what's going on here in America and, all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd just make this video and just share that information. Have a good day. I'll see you all later. And please comment and like and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morse. And I will see you all later.